Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Rob of Ro2R Review. Welcome back, and today I wanted to spend a couple of minutes discussing what might be happening with the Nintendo Direct, which appears to be re-airing sometime in the next 2 days. So this Nintendo Direct has a very weird history. It's been an insane couple of days. And, obviously you guys know what's going on. Last Thursday, there was supposed to be another Nintendo Direct, which was incredibly exciting because we had E3, then we had a Smash Brothers Direct, then we had two Nindy-focused Directs within the same week, one for the UK, one for North America, and it was like Nintendo Direct overload, and while for the most part that was all fantastic, of course, a lot of people were disappointed over the fact that we weren't getting a lot of attention focused on new games, unannounced games, surprise reveals, other first-party stuff, things that weren't Smash Brothers or indie games. There was such a focus on that stuff that a lot of people were wondering, Nintendo, what else are you giving us besides tiny little indie games or this one Smash Brothers game? But of course, once we knew this new Nintendo Direct was going to happen, it unfortunately had to get temporarily delayed, and we all know why. For the worst imaginable reason, there was a huge earthquake that actually hit Japan the day before / the day of. I actually can't remember how it breaks down time-wise because, of course, I'm here on the other side of the world. But regardless, basically that same time period the Direct was going to air, an earthquake rocked Japan, changed everything. Nintendo chose to do what I think was the right thing and postpone the Direct. They didn't necessarily cancel it. They said, hey, this isn't the right time. There's a lot going on in our homeland of Japan. This is a very big deal. It's not the right time, so we're delaying this Nintendo Direct, and you'll see it sometime in the near future. And there was a lot of reactions. There was a lot of hubbub about that, and again, for very good reason, because that was a huge deal. And although I haven't really covered the story up until now, I absolutely think Nintendo did the right thing. Now, if we fast forward to today, we are now starting to hear rumblings that the next Nintendo Direct might actually be airing this week on Thursday, the 13th. And it needs to be noted that I'm actually recording this late on the 11th, and this is going to be going up the morning of Tuesday the 12th, which, according to these rumors, is only a day before this Nintendo Direct would end up re-airing. So, by the time you guys see this, depending on what part of the day, I would think that if this Nintendo Direct is real, it might have already been confirmed by the time you're actually watching this video. So keep that in mind. I'm going to do my best to kind of discuss what may or may not be happening if we see this Direct and this whole crazy story around it. But just know that there's a very good chance that this might go up and within a couple of hours, Nintendo's already confirmed, hey, we are now re-airing this Direct tomorrow the 13th. Now, of course, this situation is so unique for all the reasons I discussed with the earthquake and the delay and all that stuff. But another reason that it's unique is because of the delay, we've never really seen anything like this happen before. And since this was delayed now just a couple of days ago, there has been a lot of leaks and rumors and news and information. In some cases, it seems like some of the stuff is even kind of confirmed. Stuff about Call of Duty, a Pokemon Nintendo Switch bundle, Final Fantasy Pocket Edition, recently, just the other day, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. So much information being confirmed from, kind of about Nintendo. And a lot of people are basically stating this is some stuff that probably was meant to be in the Nintendo Direct. And stuff that's been getting out because a lot of different outlets had press releases ready to go. Even Famitsu Magazine is supposed to release their actual issue with a lot of the information about this Nintendo Direct later this week. And so it's like Nintendo had gotten a lot of this stuff out to the press, and now that it's been delayed, something we've never seen happen, some of the information has started to come out, and it's very, very strange, and it makes us wonder what's true, what isn't true, what was part of the Direct, what wasn't part of the Direct, and it's just crazy. So I don't know, man. It's interesting to kind of see what's going to happen here. I mean, as much as I feel terrible for what happened in Japan, and I want Nintendo and honestly the entire country and all of their citizens to take as much time as they need, now that we're starting to understand it seems like this Nintendo Direct is going to air, it does get us curious and wondering and excited about what Nintendo is actually going to show in this Direct. I'm honestly glad to know that they had another Nintendo Direct in the pipe, ready to go. I mean, we literally went from that Smash Brothers Direct to two Nindies Directs within just a couple of weeks, and then Nintendo was already going to give us another full Nintendo Direct with who knows what kind of surprises. I mean, that's pretty awesome, man. I got to give it to Nintendo. They really were ready to bring it. at the end of the year, in my opinion, acknowledging the fact that 2018 has been a slow year. They haven't had a lot of great big announcements and huge games to give us, other than Smash Brothers and the Let's Go Pokemon games. And I think that this was a direct that was meant to show, hey, here's a bunch of great stuff we are planning on doing, games you've been wondering about. They're not for 2018, but as I discussed in a video a couple of weeks ago, this is now the time where they could give a Nintendo Direct to pump stuff for 2019. We're within that window where 2019 is only 4 or 5 months away. Nintendo can start to promote early 2019 titles right now, here in the fall of 2018. So what could we see? What are the kind of things that we think Nintendo might be planning on giving to us in a Nintendo Direct, in the one that was supposed to air last week, the one that we might be seeing this week on Thursday? You know, probably a changed Nintendo Direct. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff they might have pulled out or changed. I think I even heard something somewhere that there was a couple of smaller games that they were going to discuss that have actually already now released because the Nintendo Direct was delayed. So obviously they'd be pulling that stuff out of the Nintendo Direct. So what are the kind of things that we can expect? Well, if we look at some of the stuff, you know, like I already kind of listed off, some of the pieces of news that have come out around Nintendo since the Direct was delayed. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, that's been confirmed. I'm sure that was going to be discussed in the Nintendo Direct, so it'll be interesting to see if it's still a part of the program. This Pokemon, Eevee, and Pikachu Special Edition Nintendo Switch has also been discussed. That's a crazy thing, and I even made a tweet about this, man. That gets me excited because it could be opening the floodgates for future Special Edition Nintendo Switches. I mean, we have to stop and think about really how big of a deal this Pokemon Switch is. Not because it's Pokemon, because you guys know me, I don't care about Pokemon whatsoever. It's just not for me, so I don't care that there's a Pokemon Switch. What I care about is that Nintendo seems to have interest in making Special Edition Switch consoles, and so, like I said, all I want is a Metroid-themed or a Metroid Prime 4-themed Samus Nintendo Switch with Joy-Cons, and just, oh my god, it just would be so exciting. So I think that's a really cool piece of news because who knows what else Nintendo might do that with in the future. Also, like I said, as crazy as it is to think, there has been a rumor going around that there was also something Call of Duty related planned for the Nintendo Direct. And I'm really hoping that that's true, and I'm hoping that it's still a part of this Nintendo Direct. And I mean, that could be anything from, oh my god, Black Ops 4. Have we all been duped by everything happening with Activision and Treyarch, where I thought last year Call of Duty was going to be a lock for this year. Then Black Ops 4 is announced, and Activision basically says we are not making a Nintendo Switch version. So I have now been taking that as fact. But is there a chance that that really was a rope-a-dope and they're going to show us Black Ops 4 is coming? That would be crazy. I would be very happy to see it. Like I said, I'm not really convinced that I want Black Ops 4 after playing the beta, but I still would like to see the game come to the Switch. It's a game that should be on the Switch. There's also talk about maybe they do something weird where they pick apart some modes, only a couple of modes from Black Ops 4, and bring it to the Switch as opposed to the full game experience. Or if they were to do something like take the remastered Modern Warfare 2 campaign and bring that over, or an old games campaign, even the first Modern Warfare remaster, something like that. I mean, it would be nice to get anything Call of Duty on the Switch. In my opinion, Black Ops 4 would be the best choice because it's the brand new, hot, current game, Call of Duty game, and bringing that to the Switch would be great. It's probably too late to do that because the game comes out in like 2 weeks. So honestly, if there's any truth to Call of Duty in this Nintendo Direct, I feel like it wouldn't be Black Ops 4 and it would probably be a remaster of an older game. But hey, I mean, it's better than nothing, and it's one of those things where it's a foot in the door for this franchise to make it back to a Nintendo console. But of course, then we start to think about the bigger stuff. We start to think about the first-party stuff, the Nintendo stuff. Are there big first-party surprises Nintendo had planned for a late 2018 Direct? And I mean, you'd have to think, yeah, there's got to be something to it. And we go through all of the usual suspects. Let me just address the big one, the elephant in the room, right here and now, and get this out of the way. Metroid. Metroid Prime 4. Is there a chance that we see it in this Nintendo Direct? And if you follow my videos, a couple of weeks ago, I discussed, is there a chance that we would see Metroid Prime 4 the end of the year, even though I think it's a late 2019 game? And I do think there's a chance. So now, since I made that video, this Nintendo Direct was confirmed, delayed, and now rumors it's going to air this week. That was all after I discussed seeing Metroid Prime 4 this year. And so now that we have this Nintendo Direct coming, whether it's this week or later, I mean, yeah, I think there is a good chance that this might be where Nintendo wants to pull the veil back. And like I theorized in that video, I'm not talking about a full blowout. I'm not talking about getting a release date and all the details and information. And I'm not talking about learning that the game is going to release in the first half of the year. Although that could be possible, absolutely. My prediction is more at the end of the year next year. But it could be earlier in the year. Who knows? You know, like I said, that's a possibility. Regardless, what I'm thinking they would do if they wanted to show it to us in this Nintendo Direct is just give us a gameplay teaser. 30 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes flat, whatever they would want to do. Something to say, hey, we know you want an update on this huge title that you're all very excited for, Metroid Prime 4. Here's just a taste, just a tiny little taste, before we give you the full details in 2019. That is the kind of thing Nintendo would say to us to give us a 90-second preview of just gameplay footage with no other context or details. Yes, you guys, I think there is a possibility in this Nintendo Direct, whenever it airs, that Nintendo would do that. I'm going to say about 40%. I'm going to say 40-60 in favor of... Okay, let me rephrase that. 40% that we would see it, 60% we won't. But that makes it almost half. I'm splitting my odds here, almost 50-50. I think there's a good shot that we see it. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Of course, there are many of other things that we would like to see show up in this Nintendo Direct. Animal Crossing. How long have I been talking to you guys about Animal Crossing, man? It's been a while. It's been like a year since I've been talking about Animal Crossing getting a release or detailed on the Nintendo Switch. I've always been saying 2018 would be the year that Nintendo shows us Animal Crossing. I wanted to believe it was also the year that the game was going to release. That's clearly not the case now. But with this Direct coming, it does show that there's a good chance for Nintendo to actually show us Animal Crossing, and I think that's a game that could show up in the first quarter of 2019. So why not show it here in September? And, you know, 6-7 months later, it shows up in the first couple of months of 2019. I think that would make a lot of sense. It's going to be a huge title. And a lot of people are talking about Animal Crossing. I think many people are thinking or predicting that it might show up in this Direct as well. So I'm really hoping that's the case. Again, it's not a series for me, but it's a series I want to see come to the Switch. And a lot of people are waiting on that game. So that could make a lot of sense. Bayonetta 3, not a Nintendo game, but it is exclusive. Bayonetta 3 has to be detailed in this Direct. I cannot imagine that Nintendo is not going to show or discuss Bayonetta 3 in this Nintendo Direct, which we do hope is going to be this Thursday. That's another title that could make sense for the first quarter or first half of 2019, sorry. And so why wouldn't they want to start to discuss it now and show us some gameplay footage and some details of that game? It's a big title and we want to know what's happening there. I would also like to believe that we might see Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, but I feel like the fact that that just made an appearance and they just confirmed that the game now has a release date for January, they might not need to throw it into this Nintendo Direct. They might be fine with just a couple of trailers scattered throughout the next couple of months, and that's it. I would welcome it in the Nintendo Direct, but I'm not ready to lock it down, so it'll be interesting to see if it shows up. And honestly, you know what? To be fair, it didn't show up in the Nindies Direct like I expected, so now that I think about it, maybe there is a pretty good shot that it shows up in the Direct. So, okay, I'm going to change my mind, actually. Forget it. You heard me change my mind in real time, guys. I actually do think there's a good chance that we're going to see that at the Direct. And I really want to see more about that game because I am very, very excited. The only other main game I want to discuss here and now, there's plenty of other ones I could keep rattling off to you guys. But the last big one I want to mention is Pikmin, man. Pikmin 4, Pikmin Nintendo Switch. We're ready for this game, man. Pikmin has been in such a weird case because back in 2015, Miyamoto was like, yeah, we're making Pikmin 4 and it's almost done. And then we never saw it. And then we did get Pikmin on the 3DS, which was weird. And it made some of us, not many people, but some of us, myself included, wonder if like, hey, wait a minute. Is this the game that Miyamoto was talking about? Is this the Pikmin 4 or the new Pikmin game that he was saying was almost done? Is this weird 2D, 3DS game? I mean, maybe it was, but they never confirmed one way or another, and so that means that here we are at the end of 2018, 3 years later, and we don't know anything about a Pikmin 4. All we got was the 3DS game, and so what was the 3DS game supposed to be? Was there really a Pikmin 4? If it was almost done, where has it been this whole time? It's weird because it's kind of echoing the Pikmin 3 situation. For anyone old enough to remember how Pikmin 3 was discussed as a Wii game for year after year after year, Miyamoto would talk about Pikmin 3 on the Wii, and then it never happened, and then the Wii U came, and that's when we got Pikmin 3. And granted, it's one of the best games I've ever played by Nintendo, and I'm glad it was a Wii U game as opposed to a Wii game, but it was frustrating for so many years to hear Miyamoto keep talking about it but then not showing it, just for it to get delayed to the next generation. And I feel like that's probably what's happened with Pikmin 4. It was discussed by Miyamoto when the Wii U was the current console. We've now bypassed the Wii U and made it to the Switch. Well, where the hell is Pikmin 4? It was talked about 3 years ago. We're ready for it, so hopefully this Direct would be when Nintendo wants to show us that this game exists and hopefully give us a release date sometime soon. So yeah, I don't know, man. Those are some of my thoughts. That's what I think might be going on. It's a very curious case. This Nintendo Direct has had a very short life in its couple of days of its existence, since it was announced last week, then was delayed the day of, and now here we are a couple of days later, and there's rumors that it's going to show up later this week. And I think the reason I felt comfortable making this video, even though the Direct isn't confirmed yet, is just because I kind of believe it. It just feels right. It sounds right. Leaks of this scale for Nintendo over the course of the last many months have mostly turned out to be true. So where all the information kind of coming at us that is telling us that this Direct is going to happen this Thursday on the 13th seems to fall in line with every other leak we've heard over the last year that has turned out to be true. So I just kind of believe it. I think that's the reason I was like, you know what, it's worth it for me to discuss. So I don't know, man. There's a couple of ideas and theories. You know, what's going on? Is there going to be Call of Duty, Pikmin, Pokemon, Nintendo Switch console? Are we going to see Bayonetta 3 or Metroid Prime 4, Animal Crossing, Pikmin 4? What the heck, man? Who even knows? It's going to be interesting and fun. I sure hope that it happens. Like I said, if it's going to happen, the day this video goes up is also going to be the day that Nintendo confirms it. So there's a very good chance you guys already know it's real by the time you watch this video. So either way, I guess we'll see, man. Fingers crossed that Direct comes sooner than later. Fingers crossed that everything is still going okay for everyone in Japan and for Nintendo and family and all the citizens out there with that horrible event that happened. And with any luck, everything works out. So I guess we'll see. Talk about it below. What do you think? Are we seeing a Direct or not? What do you think about my predictions? What do you expect to see? Discuss it below. That's it for me. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Ro2R, and I'll catch you next time on another video.